In the last couple of days, I have noticed that the spacebar of my crusty ass keyboard is not working properly. As you can see here in the typing test that I have doing, you gotta hit the spacebar multiple times for it to work, and it's kind of frustrating. Hi, my name is Midlife and welcome to the channel. I have decided to attempt a repair on this $33 or 1,900 peso keyboard which I bought in Shopee last year. And if you're gonna ask what is Shopee, Shopee is like our equivalent or the equivalent of Newegg or Amazon or AliExpress here in the Philippines. So I have prepared a couple of tools, so the things I have prepared. So I bought the switches with Keycap puller on it or together with it, and the ones that is included on the packaging for the keyboard, I lost it last year. And also I have a couple of screwdrivers, I have a solder pump, the solder itself, and a soldering iron. Gotta have like pliers. Also get some alcohol and tissue for the cleaning. So in my case, mine uses an Otemu blue switch, which I bought from Shopee for 99 pesos or $1.79 for our Western friends out there. And what I have is a Magegee MK Storm mechanical keyboard, blue switch. So this works. This worked for me for about a year now, and it just quit for having some issues in the last couple of days. Alright, so let's start pulling the keycaps. Upon pulling the keycaps, a nightmare of accumulated dust showed up to my face. And yeah, so it is dirty as hell. So prior to deciding on repairing this keyboard, I did my research on how am I going to repair this. And in my understanding, all mechanical keyboards has mechanical switches, but not all switches are hot swappable, so make sure you gotta do your research first before attempting or deciding to making an attempt on repairing on something or anything. Alright, so let's perform the exorcism of this wicked keyboard. I mean, let's clean it. But kidding aside, I have to look for an old brush to clean the crap out of it. And oh, when you're cleaning something, please do it outside. I have just done this within my desk just to show you on the video, because I don't have the capability to move my setup. But man, the dust, it really sticks. So you can see on the mouse mat, really stick on my mouse mat. I have to clean it afterwards. Next step is you gotta get your screwdriver and remove the screws out of the keyboard. And after removing all the screws, you gotta pull out the PCB out of the frame. And to my surprise, the PCB is red. It's not like your typical green or black PCB. This one uses red PCB for some reason. So as you can see, the keyboard is already off when I performed the surgery out of this thing. So I did remove the cable from the PCB and I brought out my old trusty soldering iron with a makeshift soldering iron stand because I'm cheap AF. And let's get the soldering iron to temperature. So once the soldering iron gets to temperature, or while waiting for it to get to temperature, get your switch and check the pin layout just to make sure that you have the right one. Maybe in this item description that you have bought, it says it's the switch, but when you have it on your hand physically looking at it, it's not compatible. So just make sure. It never hurts to double check on the things that you're going to do on your hand. So once you remove the PCB out of the frame or the case or whatever you're going to call it, all you need to do is locate the pin of the switch that you want to replace by checking on the front and then the back. You just have to align it, and then again do your research first to check and confirm what type of switch you're going to buy for you to replace on the keyboard. Alright, so once the soldering iron is up to temperature, melt the solder and suck it out using the soldering pump. And then once you have removed the solder, gently push the contact pins of the switch from the PCB using your soldering iron to loosen it up. And also use the pliers to pull the loosened switch. Had to use the bigger one. sorry for the camera focus. The lens of the camera needs to be replaced as well. Once you pulled out the old switch, the broken one from the PCB, plug in the new one and then solder it into place. So make sure that you take your time melting the solder to have it secured onto the PCB. So you can see, not a professional work, but as long as it is secured on the PCB. Plug back in the USB cable to the PCB of the keyboard, and then might as well clean the lower shell of the keyboard while I'm on it. And putting it back, make sure that you secure the rubber grommet of the cable into place on the shell. So I did an initial test of the keyboard before putting back the screws, just to make sure that it's working before placing all the screws or assembling it back together. Once I confirmed that the switch is working during the initial test, I assembled the keyboard back together, put back the screws, and just make sure that it's placed properly and fastened tightly, but not too tight. And afterwards, you need to put back the keycaps onto the keyboard and make sure you clean them up before placing it back to the keyboard. I might have placed the wrong keycap on the switches, but I have placed them in the right order after the video. testing time. The spacebar switch works great in this typing test that I did, like 47 WPM words per minute. So for more content, just please make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks. Let's just play.